Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rain Boots, and today we are making a really quick and very easy chef hat. You can make a fun floppy look, a sleek and tailored look, so fancy, or a ridiculously fun and floofy look with fun details. If you'd like to make them, boop, stick around. As always, please give this video a like so I know you're here crafting with me. Now, other than some basic craft supplies, we're just going to use fleece and stiff felt. You can see I have a 9 by 12 inch piece of craft felt here from the craft store. It is going to depend, your cuts are going to depend on what size you want. So if you want a very big floofy hat, 2.5 by 12 inch rectangle and a 12 inch circle. For a medium, it's 2 inches for your brim by 12 inches and a 10 to 11 inch circle. And then for smaller gnomes, like sock gnomes, we're going to go with a 1 to 1.5 inch brim by 12 inches and an 8 to 9 inch circle. Now, a lot of people ask me, I can't, cut a circle because I don't have a compass. You don't need a compass. You don't need it. We're going to just fold our fabric in quarters, and we're going to put the edge of a ruler all the way at the part where all four sides will join, right there up in the corner. And then we're just going to measure. So if you're measuring a 10-inch circle, you're going to mark it 5. A 12-inch circle, you're going to mark it 6. I'm making a 10.5-inch circle, so I'm going to mark it 5.25. All right, so do pin the fabric before you cut because fleece has a tendency to move around a bit. You can also use cotton with interfacing. I've shared that way before as well. So just go ahead and join all those little dots you made together by cutting them. Save that fleece. Always good for something. All right, so here you can see we're going to put the right side of the fabric on the table, and then we just need this piece here, which is our whatever rectangle size. If it is too stiff and will crease when you fold it, you're going to want to run it on the edge of the table and then roll it around and do at minimum a 1/2 inch inseam. So if you're following one of my chef patterns, definitely stick with a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch inseam. All right, then we're going to take a piece of unsplit embroidery thread, and you can do 30 to 35 inches. I used it to add a little bit of decorative trim, so I cut 35. When you thread your needle, just make sure you don't need a knot, and don't go in on the wrong side of the fabric, but go in on the outside. So again, the right side of our fabric, or the outside, is what's facing down to the table. And then you're going to start at about a 1/2 inch away from the edge, and you're just going to make 1/2 inch running stitch all the way around. And that just means you go in and out of the fabric. I'm not going to make you watch all that, so it took me 2.5 minutes to do this round. And it's super, relaxing, but you do have to check your edge distance every once in a while to make sure that you're still on, relatively even. So when you end, you're going to end about a 1/2 inch away on the outside, again, exactly where we started, so that we can tie it off. Now, before you tie it off, do make sure and just give it a quick measure that it measures about the same diameter as your ring. Go ahead and tie it off. Now, if you're like me and you're always worried something's going to come undone, you can tie it off and be a bit extra with 4 additional knots. Just make sure that you don't pull too tightly and change the width of that circle. All right, so if you want to be extra, like me, and you want to make a little bit of detail on the back, you can do this. And all I did was just took that leftover string and made little X's along the seam. If you don't want to be extra, just grab your hot glue gun and do that right there. Just make sure that it's all stuck and stable before you move on. So like I said, I am no seamstress, and all I'm doing is just making these little X's. So I started on one side and then joined up with the other edge all the way in the middle and then tied that off. Okay, so you're going to line up that tied portion of your circle with the back seam. And then you're just going to pin it. Make sure you're about a 1/2 inch into that band. So it'll give you a nice poof still with those little creases, but it'll make sure that we don't pull out the hat. These are so easy to play with, I'm just saying. All right, so now that we've got the back pinned in place, you're going to go to the exact opposite side and pin that as well. And then you're just going to split the difference with all the pins all the way around, however you like to make it secure. I think I used 6 or so pins. Oh no, I used 4. I'm real good at the math, can you tell? All right, so now that I have it here, oh no, I did use 6. Haha. I'm actually going to start in the front. And the reason I'm going to start in the front because I want you to remember to use a very light amount of glue. If you glob on the glue or fail to add a dollop and then sort of move it around a bit with your glue gun tip, you could potentially see through the stiff felt, and we don't want that, right? So again, we're adding a small amount of hot glue, moving our glue gun tip, sort of dragging it out, and then we complete it all the way on the outside, and then we go to the inside. And then you're just going to tack down all of those open spaces. One tip I do recommend is pull the fabric away so that you can make sure that it adheres. So what I mean by that is you don't want a gap in your hat when you're styling it. So just pull the fabric away and then add a little glue and then push it into that band. Now technically you're done if you want a floppy hat, but if you want to stuff it, or you're using one of my patterns for a stuffed hat, really get that fluff into the folds. I really like saying get the fluff into the folds, but be sure not to stuff it too much because you can stuff it to where those folds disappear. I don't know, I think it looks great when you can still see all the little pleats and stuff. All right, so again, if you're making my large chef gnome, do leave that bit empty, but guess what? You're all done. That's it. What do you think of this chef hat tutorial? Let me know in the comments below what style is your favorite. As always, I appreciate you being here with me. Please like and subscribe for more crafty fun.